Let's move on to Mbawula chat with Siyanda Ntenga, better known as Ntenga, is a philanthropist and businessman from Township in Richards Bay, now based in Durban. He's the founder of KZN Youth Business Awards, Ntenga School Shoes, Ntenga Foundation charity race. So not just making a profit, but also giving back to the community. He is the chairman of Ntenga Foundation, a non-profit organization that has donated more than 20,000 school shoes in KZN. Asimshayile izandla. During the recent Durban floods, he partnered with organizations such as Hollywood Foundation and SA Home Loans to assist affected communities with water. In the 2 months, they donated over 2 million liters of water. He is with us in the building, the Mbawula chat with Siyanda Ntenga, founder of KZN Youth Business Awards. Please, can you come to the front, my brother? Can we give him a round of applause, please? This Mbawula chat will be facilitated by Bulelani Balabala. Can we give a round of applause for Bulelani?
So while they prep, so the Mbawula chat for us is a spotlight feature for the program of the day where we profile an entrepreneur who's inspirational. You know, I think when we initially got the flyer that said, I'd spoken to some of the guys to say we'd love to reach out to Siyanda. You know, so many of the guys were, I think, Bababaza, umsebenzi oyenziwa during the looting. If you could just please remove this entirely. Yeah, Bambon is dressed nice, he's dressed dapper then. Ngiyafunda manje, I'm taking notes. The podium, no? Is that fine? Yeah, yeah, sure. So, you've done, man, I follow this guy, I'm a fan. For many months, right? And I think he's done extremely well in the work that he's doing, but also just igniting entrepreneurship for me, KZN, and what you've done for the community, because I was saying, some of the things that people were saying was, that's the guy who saved us because there was no water anyway. And he made sure that water tanks came out to us. You know, and I think for me, doing the work that you do is so unpopular. But before I ask that question, maybe let me take the chance to people that already know you and I know you to ask you, Ubani Siyanda? Kelvin Day.
No, thanks, Bulelani. Mhlambe umuntu akaqale bingelele nje Honorable Deputy Minister, the founder insizwa kuyena silethile la Mr. Bulelani. Ngibingelele Mr. Ciko from Nedbank and ngibingelele Mr. Mkhwanazi from Kwasifa and also the team from CEDA, NYDA, and the Masakuba Ma VIPs ala namhlanje ama-entrepreneurs. I love gatherings like this because of the energy. Ukuba ku-environment kanje kukodwa nje i-energy siya-connect as entrepreneurs. Maybe before ngizongena ukuthi who is Ntenga, ngizongena nje kule yokuthi excuse me ngihlekiswe usisi uzethu from Z Organics ungichazile because uyilento engiyona I always look for my target market ngiye kuyona uthe une product ngisho nempandla wathi soka lapho wabuka straight ku deputy minister so ubese vele ibona icustomer yakhe in the room so ingichazile leyo so that entrepreneurship and also Mr. Bulelani before ngizengene I like what I'm seeing here because we're actually going to be doing a pitching competition in Mpumalanga next month, Deputy Minister, whereby I will be going with one of my partners, Hollywood Bets, to assist young entrepreneurs, black in particular, from township and rural areas. So kuna mamillion esiwakhipha lapha. I might not say ukuthi mangakanani, but it's a chunk of imali esiwakhipha lapha. So hopefully, so hamba ndawonye, no deputy minister, I'm sure he will join us. Okay, so ubani uSiyanda, I always ngibiza ukuthi umfana omncane. I'm just a young man nje from a small township in Richards Bay called Eskawini. I grew up from a family besizamela. Yabo umama wami abantu abaningi baze bebuza bathi why your love for street vendors, informal businesses? Mina ngikhulisa umama obedayisa ematafuleni. I'm a product of umama odayisa etafuleni, umama beyidayisela sikhule ngalokho. And I think entrepreneurship yami iqale lapho because besihamba siyodayisa, so you know how to bargain yonke leyo nto. So ngikhule lapho, and then I came to Durban ukuzofunda. I studied mechanical engineering. I'm a qualified senior machinist. Ngangena kwa Transnet as an apprentice. I did my entrepreneurship lapha. It was a 3-year program. I did it in 2 years because of the pressure. Enganginayo ukuthi I need to go back home and change the situation. So actually that was the first time ngigibelana nebhanoyi. I became one of the best apprentices in the country at Transnet. Ukugibela kwami ebhanoyi, we flew SAA to Emperor's Palace to receive the award yami. So, and also during that time, I don't know ukuthi babengibonini abasebenzi lapha or ama-entrepreneurs. I became their president. If uso qualified, uso sebenza neba ne-union, kuthiwa nimele we-union, u-deputy minister uyazi kangcono yana. And then thina-ke, because we were still ama-students, kuthiwa belong kwi-union but nedinga i-representative. That's how I became their president. I think maybe they saw something in me engangayiboni. And then fast forward, I worked as a tenor machinist, Sikanda itimela. Ngangena kwa Transnet with a plan, my exit strategy, ukuthi I'll be there for 5 years, but I ended up staying for 10 years because I knew very well ukuthi I'm not in there to stay for long. Then ngasheshe ngaphuma after 10 years, and then I pursued my businesses. One of the business enye abantu abayaziyo, we manufacture school shoes, Ntenga school shoes. If you haven't seen them, please Google Ntenga school shoes. That is our brand. And I do quite a lot of businesses, but some I don't even disclose them because batshena abantu ningifuna beyazi. So in a nutshell, that's who I am. Last year we started awards, KZN Youth Business Awards, whereby we honor young people who have done well in business in the last 12 months. So yeah, in a nutshell, angibambe lapho. Mhlawumbe because eminye imibuzo sengiyayiphendula ungakayibuzi.
Let's give him a round of applause, man. You know what? Whenever I talk to very successful people, one of the things that comes to mind is, you know, the thing about success, I think in this particular case, is it leaves a lot of, you know, hints in terms of how you got there. But I think over and above that, the other side of it is you do it so well, it doesn't even seem like you've got any bad days or you've had businesses go down the drain. Have you had such experiences where your business has failed, or, you know, like the majority of us as young South Africans who are in business isn't as langan? You know, I mean, I spent a good 8 years making between 180 to about 380 rand, you know, per month of the 17 years of my entrepreneurial journey. How did you break out of that, and how did you deal with, you know, the voices inside you telling you what you won't be successful?
No, thanks. I like Ulindo. Actually, he's a good friend of mine because he spoke from the heart. And actually, ubenga khulumi rhetoric, what he was saying in the eqiniso. That's why I love sessions like this. La ungaziwa ukuthi kuzoqala bama ngakhona. I've failed so many times in business. You know, I failed so many times. Actually, the first time I failed in business, I was still working at Transnet. From being a student, while you're doing apprenticeship, you earn 1,000 rand a month. It's just a stipend. So I got qualified as an artisan, then I started earning 25,000. So while I was earning 25,000, living expenses were still low because I could manage to live off 1,000. And then I saved quite a few rands, 1,000 rands, and then I started my property business. I was still an employee at Transnet, whereby I will go and look for repossessed properties, and then we buy. Umuntu waqala lapho, that was my biggest failure. I bought a property for 70,000. It was repossessed by Nedbank. And then I bought it, site renovator. In total, it was less than 100,000. I think it was 90,000 plus. And then we sold that property for 350,000. Then, yaqala inkathazo lapho, you know. I felt like, no man, I've made it. I started inviting, some of my friends were actually staying in Joburg. And then saqala, Cape Town sasesihamba kakhulu. Flying to Cape Town, suspend the mali. It was during the time abo ZA. You still remember ZA Club? Kenigne. Yeah, I remember very well the story because we felt that I know we've made it now. Sake safika club kwathiwa eclubini no man ibhodlela uyaliphuza ulishiye uphinde ubuye futhi sokubekela kwi safe, you know. That was a life umuntu awasengathi ayiphila, and then I failed. That business failed because ngayitshena ukuthi sengifike la ndangafika, but I learned something from that, you know, ukuthi kahle kahle imali ebusiness iyahlonisha. Ushilo earlier on umhlonisha from a Nedbank which declare phela at the end of the year ama dividends, and then mase uphila lapho ungaphili, because mina business account was more like a personal account. Since ukuthi there was no mentorship, there was no guidance ukuthi how to run your business properly. Remember angithi mina ngikhulisele umama udayisa ematafuleni, yonke into ngiyifunde emgaqweni. I had no mentors, I had no one to assist me. So that was my biggest failure. And then I started learning, and I associated kakhulu with people who have made it. And mina anginayo umngane ongangami. Anginabo abangane abangangami, abantu engiphila nabo, abantu abangangobaba uSidumo, abantu abadala. Ngikhumbula this other time ngiye ekhaya ngiyo business nezinye izinto zombutho. So ngiye ekhaya ngikhombisa umama umngane wami. Mase ngihambile ethi hayi man, lo mngane wakho ngangobaba wakho. So she couldn't understand ukuthi ngenzani abantu abadala. It was through that business elafeyile ukuthi ngi-associate kakhulu nama-peers wami, akekho ogayida omunye akukhuzwane. So I learned from that ukuthi for me ukuthi ngifike lapha kumele ngi-associate nabantu asebekhona. I started living nalabo bantu. That was my first lesson engayifunda ebhizinisini. Fast forward, pandemic came. One of my business, of which I'm not going to mention, yashaya phansi pandemic. Financials abheka phansi yonke into kwayimess. And then what I did, I decided it was a very painful decision. I said I'm resigning on this business, and then ngafaka ubhuti wami kulona. And then we started silungisa ukuthi sil recover kanjani ukuthi libuye, but yonke into enzakalayo there are lessons learned.
What inspires you to stay in the game?
Actually, what inspires me is to see other people prospering. For me, to be in the game is to assist abanye abantu abasegameni. You know, if they win, I win. That's my motto. I always say, if they win, I also win. I mean, like, I said earlier on, one of my stakeholders or my client, Hollywood Bets, they approach me because of the work that I'm doing. And we've been dispersing millions and millions, assisting small businesses. So sometimes by assisting others, you're actually assisting yourself.
The round of applause. You know, I think what I love about that statement is it ties into, I think, a statement someone I look up to once said, who said, the best way to ask for help is, how can I help you?
Yes.
Now, having done the work that you've done, mostly considered thankless work in a sense, right? Because you're driving work that is economic development, driving entrepreneurs. And sometimes there are misconceptions especially from us being business owners who are running businesses, Amalokshin, you know, where you see another quarter place open up the road from you and you think, long lo is competing with me, uyayikopa lento yami uzenza mina. What are your thoughts around that so that we re-engineer that mindset and perception? Because on any given fashion burst in any season, the same retailers in every mall are selling the same item, just branding it differently. But we don't call that, they're competing with each other. They call it complementing each other because they're speaking to various parts of the LSM. What can you say on that?
Yeah, I always say for a business to grow, you need competition. You can't avoid the competition. That's actually we should learn from Somalians. If you go in town, ungena ngo Russell Street, from China Mall, uhamba uzofika from China Mall uzofika ku Russell Street, it actually sekuyise Somali lapha. It's no longer South Africa. They are selling one and the same thing. Bonke bala kulayini. So I always say you must embrace competition. Actually, iyona ezokupusha ukuthi unyuse game, because sometimes if ufuna ukuthi I'm the only one, you tend to disrespect your market because uyazi ukuthi they don't have anywhere to go. Wena. So you must embrace competition. If umakhelwane wakho efika la ushaya chicken dust nawe uzoshaya chicken dust, no, musukumthakathi umfakele umeqo lapha. Shinti indlela oppositiona ngayo brand yakho or your product, you know, abantu will always come bezobheka izinto, but khona lento oyidentify ngayo umuntu ethi no, let me go to this table or let me go to this shop. So you can't avoid competition. Actually, we must embrace competition.
And then what is the one piece of advice, if there's ever even such a, even if it's not singular, because I'm sure you've gotten a lot, but what is the one piece of advice that changed how you looked at business?
Actually, I always say, ngizobuyela ekutheni, not all of us, number one, not all of us are meant to be in business. Masingaqala sifunde lokho nje, you know. Ama-entrepreneurs, ngihlale ngithi, you are born an entrepreneur. Same thing as a leader. You are born as a leader. You can't fake it. You can't uzuyi-act leyo nto. Into okhula nayo. So mina into engayisho, it goes with lo mlilo sokungaphakathi kuwena. There is no advice I can give. Ngabe nginiqambela amanga. Leyo nto ikuwena ngaphakathi uyizwa kuwena. And sometimes ngiyayithanda i-point esho umhlonishwa from Nedbank earlier on ukuthi ungangena ebhizinisini uphinde ubuyele corporate impela iqhubeke. You know, I always go against labantu abahlale be-criticize ama-profession or employment. Ubezwe kuthiwa you are being bought ukuthi ubeke into zakhe eceleni. No, if sonke sesingama-entrepreneurs kanti obani abazosupport amabhizinisi ethu? Because we need these professionals to come and assist us ukuze si thrive. So we need each other. There's no advice mina ngayitshela umuntu ukuthi ube entrepreneur kumele wenze njani. Into engakuwena. Khona lo mlilo kushisayo. I mean like sikwa-Max for that matter. La abantu abeza la bazoshaya isicathulo, but thina we are here kwi-conference room. So khona le nto kushisa ngaphakathi.
Round of applause. Who inspires you? I mean, in your landscape, in the landscape of South African entrepreneurs and leaders, who inspires you?
Ngi-inspire iGrootman uDJ Sbu. I love the fact ukuthi he kicked doors, you know. Sometimes as entrepreneurs we need to be aggressive. Siyawagqoka amasudu masithanda kanje, but kwesinye isikhathi sigqoka amaguzu makumele siyokhahlela eminyango. So I always look up to abantu abafana naye who are aggressive in entrepreneurship. So he inspires me a lot.
Round of applause. Tell us a bit about, because there's a program you guys are running now. Maybe if you can touch on it. Tell us a bit about, you know, the KZN Youth Business Awards, because I think that's something beautiful, and majority of the amazing people here are young, all in actual fact.
Oh yes, it was during the pandemic. whereby I felt we need to do something to encourage young entrepreneurs in business to keep on going. You know, we were all stressed. Some of us were doing it, but we felt as if, hey, you're not doing enough because of the pandemic. So that's where our KZN Youth Business Awards came about. We started the first ones, it was last year, during the Intra-Africa Trade Fair, which was taking place at ICC. So it was one of their side programs, if I may say. Basically, what we are looking at or what we are doing, we are just honoring young people from the province of KZN who are doing well in business for the last 12 months. You know, when you're saying who are doing well, we look at in terms of employment they have created, the impact they have created as well in their communities, and also the CSI development as well, or CSI component of it as well, because we always say I'm a business, it's very important. So we started with 11 categories last year, starting from your agriculture to manufacturing. So this year we've actually added another category, which is tourism. It was a pressure we got from KZN Tourism Office to say, KZN Tourism Department to say, Haibo, you need to put that category. And then, so yeah, they're going to be taking place on the 30th of November at one of the big venues here in Durban. And yeah, so far we have over 2,000 nominations that have came through. It's quite exciting, so yeah.
What would your, so a lot of questions, but what advice would you give to a young entrepreneur? Ozamayo, hlanganisayo, so that they just continue? Because there's no shortcuts, and that's the painful thing. There's no shortcuts, because you know what I always say, you can do, the entrepreneurship is strange.
Yes.
You can do everything right and not win at the time frame that you would have wanted because it's playing the long game.
Okay.
And you are just pearls of wisdom.
Yeah, the advice is actually in pictures. Can I get someone to start showing pictures on the screens? It's just going to take 2 minutes. Can we start with the first picture? We are actually here at Umlazi, Ekas. There are two young guys from La Umlazi whom I met, it was during pandemic. So this is the advice I'm giving, actually. The advice is start where you are with what you have. I'm just going to show you this. Picture number 1, please. Yeah, you see that shack? It was actually in August 2020 when I did a site visit. These guys are actually here, 10 minutes from here. Maybe if we deputy ministers in this card, they started working on this shack. It's 2 guys, Mbawula and Siyanda. From that shack, it's a 3x3. They were baking izinkwa, namakeke, what you call, yonke into ongayicabanga edliwayo ebhekwayo. Now, from that shack, beqasha abantu abawu-14. 14 abantu ababaqashile doing what they are doing. Their business model was very simple, and it's still very simple. They bake, and then during the morning, they bake throughout the night. In the morning, they have these guys that you can see in the picture. Bababiza ngamarana. They take stock. Amakeke izinkwa. They go to industrial places. Beyodayisa khona. They don't have a shop. They sell from them. So I met them. It was August 2020. I was like, no, man. It cannot be. That's me with a blue t-shirt there. I was like, no, man. These guys are doing very well, you know. And then March 2020, I got Hollywood Bets on board, you know. Hollywood Bets came on board. Fast forward, June 2021, this is what Hollywood Bet donated to those guys. At 12, okay, hold it on that slide. A 12-foot container with imshini yoguti basically up production yabo. When I first met them, they were actually making 100 to 120 breads a day. And then Hollywood Bet came on board, and then they were making 250 to 300 breads per per shift. And nangwabalike lamakhekhe amancane abawenza emaceleni. Can you go to that slide, the last one? Yes, hold it there. That was July 2021. We all know what happened in Durban. We had an unrest. That was the only bakery here at Umlazi, or that was the only place here at Umlazi obukwazi ukuthola kuyona isinkwa. Ngicela ubuke ulayini abantu ababamba ulayini bayothenga izinkwa. People were driving from Umhlanga to go there to buy bread. So my advice is start where you are with what you have. Usizo yoluthola ngendlela.
You know, and you know, wow, I don't even know what to say. But that concludes our Mbawula chat. But I think, you know, we want to appreciate you because, you know, I think, you know, years ago we used to read, I used to be a young entrepreneur reading books of entrepreneurs from overseas. But my inspiration is Siyanda, you know, Lindo, Mbawula, people I can point to, and they are crafting. These are our role models. These are people that we need to give flowers to. So, my brother, my inspiration, I give you your flowers today, and we say, Siyakubona, we appreciate you. I might not be an entrepreneur who's based Umlazi, but I'm affected by the work that you do here because mangiza langzo en zomsebenzi, you would have bulldozed along with Amanya Makhrotwan, who would have dual bulldozed and paved the way for us to be able to create an enabling environment for young, amazing people, Umlazi. You know, so people who do amazing work, as Katines Ning, never get their flowers while they're still alive. But this part of the program, which is the Mbawula chat, is us as young, amazing township people giving love to our own people, city asigzondi siyakuthanda. You inspire us and we appreciate you. We might not tell you, and abaning the thousands and thousands you've helped might not tell you, but tina siyakutshela manje ukuthi we appreciate you and we thank you. And let us all just stand and give him a round of applause. You guys can do it better than that. Let's keep it going. The flowers. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Because this is the moment. Don't stop. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's fill his cup. Bro, if I had 100 million, I'd give you. But symbolic to this moment, these are your flowers. And everyone here is throwing a piece of energy back in you and pouring back into you so that if you have helped these guys and you're going to help 100 more, may you get the energy and the fuel to help 100,000 more. And may you be blessed to help 1,030 million more. We appreciate you and we love you. We appreciate you, bro. Please just, these items here are bought from small businesses that are here. And we've bought more, we'll be giving those still out, but this is also yours, sir. And
No, thank you so much, Bulelani. Actually, this is the first time I'm actually getting flowers. So, literally, this is the first time. I'm so emotional right now. You know, sometimes we do a lot, but we don't get appreciated. What I'm doing, I always tell people that it's a calling, you know. You do it without expecting someone to say thank you. So when someone actually ekbonga, you get so emotional because you're not used to it, you know. So thank you so much. And yeah, no, thank you so much. Ngiyabonga for it.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, sir. Well, they want to take a picture of him, yeah. Just, we're going to have food and our amazing keynote of the day. Oh, picture, oh, me. I'd like to now give back to our program director,